Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We're on United Show today, Devil's Advocate, and today it's the big one. It's the game we've all been waiting for the last couple of weeks. It's the Europa League Final. It's the Europa League Final preview here today. And this evening, I am joined by three very special guests, three very big Manchester United fans, and people who I have the utmost respect for in this fan base. So I wanted to get them all on at the same time here today. So to the right of me, I'm joined by Mr. Dale O'Donnell from Stretty News. Below me, we're joined again by Adam Matic from Adam Matic TV. And also to the right of Adam, we are joined by podcast regular Mr. Greg Chambers. So fantastic panel joining me here this evening to talk all things Manchester United. Most importantly, the Europa League Final, because again, it's been a while since we've been in a cup final. So it'd be good to discuss this with the guys here tonight. First of all, I'm going to come to just briefly on yesterday's 2-1 victory over Wolves away from home. Kids were playing yesterday. Good to see the kids playing. And a few players as well who were probably at their swan song for Manchester United as well. Kind of a mixed team yesterday. All in all, we got the 2-1 win. Unbeaten away from home. Second place completed. Domestically, for me, I think it was a pretty decent season. But overall, Dale, I'm just going to come to you first. Looking at the overall performance yesterday, pretty good performance. We've seen the likes of Amad Diallo, Anthony Elanga, Hannibal, and play yesterday, Stuart Hire, and they all kind of put in very good performances. What are your overall thoughts on yesterday?
Yeah, it was great to keep that run going, being unbeaten away from home for the whole Premier League season. We turned out the young lads, and you're kind of a few people were fearful of that record being thrown down the Swan. Wasn't the case. They did well against 10,000 Wolves fans who were loud at parts. And I think they all came across, like Ahmad, for instance, quite nice glimpses of what he did yesterday. You could see he's a clever footballer with a high IQ. But in areas he was light on the ball. But this is you look at this United team, and if they do get a right winger in the summer, you can kind of rest assured knowing that he's not going to be thrown into the deep end too soon. And he will get his chances. I definitely seen enough yesterday to say that next season, I hope he gets a few more minutes under his belt.
Yeah, like I seen him yesterday, like he was on the right, he was going through the middle, drifting out to the left. He looked like a very well-balanced player. He could take a player on. Even that couple of times after getting a tackle, as a young player, it'd be very easy to kind of shy away and not take on a player. He done absolutely fantastically well yesterday. And you just knew, like a couple of glimpses we've seen him against Milan, Leicester City, in other games this season, he has shown that there is a player in there. So I'm in total agreement. I think when you look at Amad Diallo and you look at next season, if we do get Jadon Sancho in or some of that ilk in the right wing position,
I think as well, Keane, that one player that's worth mentioning is Van de Beek. I thought that was probably his best performance in United shirt yesterday. Not that he pulled up many trees, but it was definitely an improvement on what we've seen at times. You can see that there's an intelligent technical player there, but whether he's up to the pace of the Premier League, I think will take time to really kind of give that final verdict. There's a lot of people this season have been throwing their ties out of the pram, really, complaining about Solskjaer's management of Van de Beek. When he's played, although it's been limited, I don't think anyone can say that he's shown enough. And we don't see what happens in training every day. And I question that's probably the same thing. If he's not showing enough in training and he's not warranting a place in this team, who do you take out? We all complain that the midfield is not ideal with Fred and McTominay. But I don't see, in that squad, I don't see more balance in a different duo. And that's something they have to address in the summer.
Yeah, 100%. We were speaking off camera before we went live, and we both agreed like defensive midfield is definitely an issue, I think, in the summer that needs to be addressed, because I think we're shoehorning at the moment. But again, I'm glad you touched on Van de Beek. I thought it was probably his best game in the United shirt in quite a while. Barred obviously the Southampton game to start the season when he played in the 8. He was also fantastic when he did play in the box-to-box midfield role in that game. But, very happy overall with the performance. Adam, just touching on another player yesterday who kind of had his swan song almost, was Juan Mata. He scored a penalty yesterday, but he did look tidy in midfield. You look at him at the moment. Obviously, he played well, but there was another number 10 that came on for him in Hannibal, who also looked very bright, looked very energetic. He looked like again another young player who could be the one for the future. Was yesterday nearly almost a passing of the torch?
It's like a bit of a Hollywood movie, wasn't it? It was like the old going out and then the new coming in. It just worked that way in the game, didn't it? You mentioned positional changes there. It's like bye Juan Mata, hello Hannibal. Do you know what? It's like when you've got, I can't remember the stat that came up, the percentages of Manchester United young players through a season that have played or come through. I mean, Ollie's. Someone put out a number of how many debutants from the academy that Ollie's given, and it was high. You don't even realise how many players have been given their debut by Ollie, and that, I mean, we all want Manchester United to spend money, but real United fans also realise that this club was built on its own infrastructure, its own youth setup, and the only issue I've got with the likes of, let's say, for instance, the Pereiras, the Matas, the Matiches, I just feel like they're in the way a little bit from some of the players getting an opportunity in certain games that we know we can bring them in, like the Carabao Cup games, some of the poor FA Cup matches. They're always going to come in first ahead of some of the younger players. And I'm all for, like Dale said, just nursing these players in. You can't just throw them in. The Wayne Rooneys of the world don't exist anymore. You have to be outstanding to come straight into a first team Premier League team like Rooney did, or even the likes of Ronaldo and Messi. Ronaldo, let's not forget, didn't start well. His first season was very hit and miss. It takes time to integrate into a team, and this team right now is hard for young players to come into because it's not settled. We've got an imbalance. We just touched on it then. There is an imbalance in our team. It's hard for young players to come in. I was going mad at people slagging off Henderson the other day. He's under the microscope more than any other player right now because of the position. He's coming into what people see as a cult hero in David De Gea. And for people to going down on him so much because he made a couple of mistakes, they're absolutely clueless football fans. The pressure that's on this kid, it's unfair. And not everyone gets to come in and play with brilliant players around them all the time, like a lot of United's young players through history have done. They were lucky to come in when we had a really good settled team. This lot coming through now are the best of the best at their level right now in the youth setup. So they have got something. They're beating everyone. Below them, you've got the Charlie McNeils, the Hugels, the players that haven't even come through yet. There's a long list of people, a long list of players to come through. So I'm looking at the transfer market, mate, and I'm going, prioritise the position we really need for that first team. Don't go buying someone that's just become available, because we've got players coming through here. We get our team settled, we plug the holes for positions that we really need, then we have got youth players coming through that have got something. Let's not forget the players that are on loan, the Ethan Lairds. Do you know what I mean? These players are playing now at championship level, getting the experience. It's a shame that Mengi went down injured, because there's another player coming back in this summer for us. Ollie has got a huge summer ahead of him, because we must have the biggest squad in English football right now. And it is probably going to be one of them crazy summers. And going back to yesterday in the game, it sort of looks that way, that, you know what? The old guard has done its job. Time is up. It's time to move on. And it was just nice to see so many young players coming on. I mean, we were substituting youth players for youth players yesterday and beating a Wolves team who we never beat, by the way. And I said, that's the first time we scored more than 2 goals at Molineux since Wolves have been back up there. So these lads need some credit, because Wolves are no pushover. Like Dale said, 10,000 fans, pressure was on. Nuno's last game, our record against Wolves. It was a hard game, and you know what? They absolutely did themselves proud yesterday. The old guard and the young kids coming through. To a man, we played as a team there, and it was credit to all of them, because it's hard to do when you've been sat on the bench for so long and then have to come into a game with not much match sharpness. And to do that performance with a team that's never played together at all, ever, and take Wolves down, then great way to finish the season. That's one of my highlights of the season, mate. It really is. Just the fact that we've seen them kids come on and play for Manchester United and show the character to play that game. That's what I love about this football club. That is what I was brought up on at Manchester United. That's what I love. That's why I used to like watching the reserve and the under 23, under 18 games better sometimes, mate, because they play with the fearless, aren't they, at that age? And it was absolutely, but you can tell the passion I've got for it, because I'll just go on forever talking about United's youth system. It's what this club is, and I know there's talent in this youth system. We've a very good future ahead of us.
Adam there for a second.
Sorry, did I go?
You went there for a second, yeah.
Oh, right in my prime as well. I was just hitting the punchline as well, but you all missed it now. Carry on, Keane.
I'm just going to touch on this with you, Dale, just for a moment. I was going to bring Greg back into the show there. Dale, let's just like to ask one quick final thing, just on kind of the youth, the kind of, I suppose, the structure of the academy. Do you maybe think this is the strongest kind of the academy's been in the last decade?
Yeah, I would say so. A lot of people deserve praise for that. Nicky Butt in particular, and he's left the club. I think a lot of people realised a couple of years after Ferguson left that a few things have been kind of left malnourished. Could be a good word, to be honest. They were there almost ignoring the fact that it's very important for a club like Manchester United to keep a tradition of producing the best young players. And to be honest, you look at some players and people, I see it on social media quite a bit saying that they get kind of bit easier treatment of fans because they come through the academy. But of course they do. Of course they do, because they're by right they come into the first team and they're already part of the club's history. That's the best thing about producing young players. And I think the people working at the club now can realize that. Solskjaer has been brilliant. He's worked in the academy before, and he knows as a coach at that level what's required to get the best out of those players, and to also ensure that the coaches over those players have what they need. Because we've seen a few stuff about the women's team and the way they've been treated, and it's not okay. This club talks about equality. They need to put that into practice, and it's good to see, though, with the young youth team, the progress. It's a shame about the FAU Cup this season, because I think a lot of people would have fancied us in that.
Yeah, I think like when you look at the shape of it, like the under 20, the under 23s, the 18s, like we were talking a couple of days ago about Dale, like the Hannibals, the Shore Thierrys, Charlie McNeil, Hugill, so many of them there, and then you have like Ethan Galbraith, James Garner, still players like that coming through, Will Fish, like even the Brandon Williams, Ethan there. It's like there's so many of these players who are coming through who are so promising at this moment in time that the last time we seen this amount of players come out of this team was probably 2011 when we won the FAU Cup. When we did have the likes of Pogba, Lingard, the Keane brothers, Sam Johnson, all them who were in that squad at that time. This is the last kind of, I suppose, crop of youths we've seen kind of since then. They've all kind of breaking through at the same time.
Well, look, it's a pool of young talent. Okay, I don't expect all the players that we seen yesterday to feature much next season. There'll be maybe a few. I expect Ahmad you'll see a bit of, but it's hard to say right now who will be the ones who really kick on, because they'll all be on pre-season tour, and those boys have to go back now and develop again and kick on again. And it playing at that level, first team football of Manchester United, it's different gravy. It's totally different. So yeah. It's hard to know yet who will be ready. I wouldn't be upping the expectations and saying they're this and they're that, because you can't compare them to the 2011 team. They haven't won an FAU Cup. Maybe that's a good thing for them. Maybe they don't have that over their heads, and those heights aren't expected, because players can thrive under less pressure. And at Manchester United, pressure is always sky high.
Yeah, like the pressure is always high, but look, the future is bright, I do believe, and look, I suppose it remains to be seen kind of where we go from here, and look, it's a massive summer ahead. Greg, can you hear me okay now? Is your connection all good?
Yes, I believe so. It should be better now. If you can hear me, then we're all good.
Yeah, we're all good. I can hear you loud and clear. Greg, so kind of just moving on the show. Our road to the Europa League final this year has been quite good. I suppose when you look at, we kind of reflect firstly on the Champions League before we kind of look at kind of how we've done in the knockout stages. Mm-hmm. This year we've shown that we can, on the kind of big games, we can beat teams. Like we've beaten PSG this year, we've beaten Leipzig. I know we had the kind of we did a little hurdle, I suppose, in what happened in Istanbul, which has kind of cost us, and we only need 1 point from the last 2 games. But you look at the games we played this year against like the PSG, Leipzig, 2 very good teams, and now we're going into a Europa League kind of final after beating like Real Sociedad, beating AC Milan. We've beaten teams who are at a decent level this year. Now we're playing Villarreal in the final. Wayne, look, United on the European stage this season. You think now we should be on a reign of confidence going into this game?
Yeah, I think so. I think in terms of as soon as sort of second was wrapped up for United, you sort of saw players sort of kick back, and that's maybe where they looked like they had sort of one eye on the final, and they've had that on for the last sort of couple of weeks, I think. So I think everyone at the club, as soon as this was confirmed that we're going to be in a final, was just focused on that, and that's what everyone is so keen to get to it and to be able to play in. Obviously, not everyone's going to get a chance to feature, but I think we should be confident. Like we get nothing out of not being confident. All we do is get battered by a team that are going to be tactically well set up. We know what Emery will do. They'll sit deep probably and just try to take the game as deep as possible and try to make us uncomfortable. We need to go out and attack, be confident, go and put 2 past them in the first half an hour and see what they've got. That should be the way that we should play, because that's when we've played our best this season. Second half against Tottenham, when we've had to come out and play. Second half against Southampton, when we were 2-0 down and had to come back into the game, we play the best on the front foot when we're playing confident. So yeah, I think we've got every right to be confident. We don't lose anything in being confident. We're not. No one is taking this because of what happened in the past, and because it's very much the same group of players that lost all those semi-finals. It's going to be every set of mentally, these players are going to be so switched on for this game. Like, I think we could have lost our last 6 in a row and we would be so switched on for this game that we would see a completely different Man United side. Like, it's not just Ollie that needs to win this trophy. It's Maguire that needs to win this trophy. It's Rashford. It's Pogba. It's Shaw. It's the whole team that need to win this trophy. And it was the same team, pretty much, Donny aside and Cavani, that lost all those semi-finals last year. So, yeah, why not be confident? Go out and believe you can beat teams. We've got a good record against Spanish sides, which wasn't always the case, even under Sir Alex and things like that. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like, you look at the kind of road to the final this year, I think you look at the teams we've beaten, we've done well in the knockout competition this year in the Europa League. Like, you look at these players you mentioned, Pogba, Bruno, Cavani, Rashford, these players for the large parts this season have played very well. Luke Shaw has been absolutely outstanding this season. Like, you look at left backs in the world, I don't think, apart from Alphonso Davies, can anyone get close to him this season. He's been absolutely exceptional. We massively need this. When you look at kind of some players in this team, a trophy for this team is absolutely massive in terms of developing that winning mentality to kick on from next year. Because imagine when you look at this in a singular season, we finished second, 74 points, 8 points higher than last season. A Europa League in the bag. That's our best, like, in terms of single season, like post Sir Alex. In my opinion, that would be the best season post Sir Alex. Now, other Mourinhoistas will turn around and say, oh, but we won the Community Shield, we won the League Cup, we won the Europa League. But Man United also finished 6th that season, and we drew about 10 or 11 games that year. So when you look at consistency,
drew 11 this year, mate, as well.
Season, what?
Yeah, we did. We
drew 11 this year as well.
Yeah, but we finished with a higher points tally this season.
It's about how many games you win. It's not about how many you lose. It's about how many you win, mate.
Absolutely. But for me, when you look at it, in terms of overall progression and overall consistency in a single season, Solskjaer has done fantastically well. Like his back's been against the wall this season many times, and he's picked this team up time after time. And I think yesterday was an indication now we can take more confidence going into this game, and we can look ahead and hopefully we can go out and get this trophy, because I want to see this team, the Rashfords, the Greenwoods, McTominays, get a taste for success and bring them to that next level, because trophies breed success. And as Manchester United, that's what we're all about. We're all about success. We're all about bringing players through the youth. We're all about winning trophies. This is where we should be as a football club. That's what we've all been bred on, success. We want that to continue. We want to drive on. Let's challenge next season. But I think Wednesday, if we do win that game, that's a massive, massive platform moving forward. And then hopefully having a successful summer. And let's challenge next season, because that, I think we're nearly there. We're a couple of players away, but we're not too far away. We're a lot closer to what people think, in what I believe.
Closer than we've ever been since Sir Alex. We're as close as we've ever been. I think
it's just now we need to add
as well. Like, I like watching this team. I didn't enjoy watching Mourinho's team. I didn't really like the players, but I enjoy watching this team, and I want them to do well. Like, obviously, I wanted Mourinho's team to do well, but it wasn't exciting. Like, I didn't watch the Europa League final that year. Like, I went and did something else because I didn't want to watch Mourinho's team play. So, like, the fact that that was Ollie's hardest job, was to make Man United likeable again and make them a team that people wanted to watch, because we played 4.5 years of dire football under the two managers previously. Obviously, Ollie, to change that from now what we play, it's not great, I know, and it does sometimes lack tactical nous. And there are some times in games where he gets caught out and he making stupid decisions, like the other week making a substitution on a corner. Like, that's pub football stuff, and it's silly mistakes, and it's things that every manager in the world does it, but because it's Man United and because it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, everything's just magnified 100 times. But I think he's done such a good job, and he deserves a trophy for everything that he's done in the last 2.5 years. And then he probably would deserve his contract extension as well if he were to win this.
Yeah, 100%. I massively, massively agree. Adam, look, coming into this game, there's a few question marks over certain players' fitness. Harry Maguire looks like to be touch and go. Solskjaer is probably going to give him till Tuesday night, Wednesday morning to be fit. If in the event Harry Maguire isn't fit and he doesn't start this game on Wednesday night, Victor Lindelof is a shoe-in for centre-half. Who are you playing alongside him? Because Axel Tuanzebe seems to be in very good form the last couple of games. He's putting on good performances in the run of games he has. But Eric Bailly is also more experienced and has proven he can be a good centre-back on his day.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm having to leave Axel out of this one. I think it's just the game that Ollie needs to win. I think the pressure's on. Manchester United need the trophy. And I think in terms of centre-back, it's very important, because it's the goalkeeping decision is massively important as well, you see, because if you bring De Gea in, I know what De Gea brings, but for me, I feel like Henderson's organisation is better. Without Harry Maguire, the organisation at centre-back is not there. It's quite clear. So for me, you're going to have to just go with your most experienced centre-backs. I think it's that simple. I think we're going to get away with it a little bit because we know what Villarreal are. We know what they're going to do. We're not going to get high pressed. I'm pretty confident in saying we're not going to be high pressed by them. So defensively, I think we will have more than enough, no matter who plays. But I just want Eric Bailly there. I mean, I'm reading nothing into the fact that it's his old club. I do feel like Eric Bailly is probably a better one for the bigger stage than Axel right now. I just don't think Axel's had enough game time this season. And for me, I think Lindelof and Bailly are probably the partnership. Either way, looking at it, I'm not massively concerned if Ollie brings in Axel. I do think he can do the job. But I do think it's going to come down to him just playing the guys who've played more games this season. And Eric Bailly has had some really good spells for us this season. The one through December, January, where he was our best defender by a mile, in my opinion. I think he deserves his shot in the final, because Ollie then dropped him for a few big games, including the City semi-final. I think Bailly deserves his shot for this season because he has performed performed well when he's played this season for me. I think he deserves his place in this final. If Maguire is 60-70% fit, do I play him? That's the question, because Ollie's going to give him every chance possible. You know what I mean? Phil Jones was there holding him up at the premiere of Fergie's programme the other night, wasn't there? You know what I mean? So the boots off, the crutches are gone. Where's his fitness at? And like I said, this isn't going to be a gut-busting game for our defence. This is a concentration game. We are not going to be overly run by Villarreal. It's quite clear. The way they play football, I just feel like the organisation is important. If Maguire is 60-70% fit, I think he comes in, mate. I really do think he plays. It's our captain. He doesn't miss a game. And he will be doing what I want my captain to be doing. He will be testing Ollie right now. He'll be at him. He'll be on the phone constantly. He'll be sending him text messages when he wakes up. I'm feeling good, boss. I'm feeling good. That's what I want my captain to be doing. I'll be kicking the door down. And if he says he's ready to play, Harry Maguire plays for me. I just prefer, and he's had his critics. I think we've all had our moans about him and certain things. But one thing you can't deny, he's an organiser. And his stats prove it. He's the one who commands his back line. He's first for everything. He's the one who takes the ball off the keeper. He's the one who challenges for the first ball in the box. He's the first on everything. That start can't be ignored. And people feed off him. Do you know what I mean? Our defence is stronger with Maguire in it. If he's fit, he plays. If he's 60-70%, I think he still plays, because I do feel like we can win the game in 70 minutes. Against Villarreal, and I think Harry Maguire helps us there. If he isn't fit, my opinion, I'm going with Eric Bayer. Simple.
Yeah, like the comments in here are flying here this evening, though. Thanks very much, everyone, for getting involved. Like, there's a lot of shouts with Tuanzebe, a lot of shouts for Boy, so there's conflicting feelings in the comments tonight. Dale, I know for a fact I'm going to have the rosary beads out tonight anyway, saying all my Hail Marys, hoping Harry Maguire is going to be fit Wednesday night. But with yourself, what's your take on this with the centre back situation coming into the final?
Yeah, I think the problem, what faces Solskjaer right now is with Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof. You've got two defenders that you could both argue going into this game that they deserve a place, given that they've been in the team for so long this season and so on. But the problem is, as a partnership, they do not partner very well. Very rarely have they put a good performance in together, and that's a massive concern going into this final. So for me, it's a big risk. Adam has said it about Tuanzebe hasn't played enough football this season, but I think that's the safest bet for the Solskjaer, is to play Tuanzebe and Lindelof. The problem with Eric Bailly as well is, I just find, as much as I love him, he's so rash. And in a European final, if we can scratch that off the card, I would do that.
Yeah, like, look, again, I see the pros and cons for each one. Obviously, Boy, more experienced, probably have his tail up because obviously it's his former team. But Axel's probably in the better form at the moment. And look, when you look at terms of balance, he's probably the better partner for Victor Lindelof at centre back. But again, as we all want, if Harry Maguire can play this game, he starts 100%. And again, I will reiterate, the rosary beads will be out tonight. I would say every single Hail Mary I absolutely can to make sure Harry Maguire is fit.
The other, I won't deny that we're worse off without Harry Maguire, but throughout this season, and I think everyone has to hold their hands up and admit to this, that we've been awful defensively and set pieces, whether Harry Maguire is back there or not. Something has to change. Something has to change. So the problem with this defense, whether Maguire is there or not, it's so inconsistent. Eric Bailly, if I actually thinking back about it now, if it's Eric Bailly or Lindelof, who deserves it more this season? I would say probably Bailly. I think I've been more happier with Bailly this season than I have with Lindelof.
Yeah, to be honest, that as well, on that defensive side of it, the coaching, the zonal marking on set pieces. Yeah. I think the goalkeeper plays a part in this. I think Henderson claims the ball more. People will say, yeah, everyone makes mistakes, guys. I mean, everyone's lauding Alisson at the moment. Let's not forget what he did early on in the seaon. He's one of the best keepers in the league. Remember that Leicester game, the City game at Anfield? These keepers are going to make mistakes. Ederson makes mistakes. But what is most important is that communication between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. Now, as much as I love De Gea, I don't think he fills centre-backs with confidence. And set pieces, what was it? 37% goals were conceded this season from set pieces. The goalkeeper's got to take his fair share from that. He has to organise along with his centre-backs. I do feel like we looked a lot. And we was about 11th in the league defensively for best defence. Henderson started coming in, and we went to one point before this crazy week when we had to play so many games in a week. We were the third best defence in the league. And considering how crap we've been, like Dale said, Henderson coming in there and coming and being commanding the way he is helps the defence no end. And yeah, we've had to mix things up, and it's all got a bit mixed up the last week. And I think it's took a shine off some of the hard work that's gone in with what Henderson's done with the defence. And again, I'll make this point, I'm not digging at De Gea, but if he's making save after save after save, the defence is not doing its job. That's the way I look at it. It's really not. He's looking good because his defence is crap. If De Gea organises his defence better, or actually comes and commands a bit more, maybe he's not making as many saves. I just look at it that way. And set pieces, oh my God. I just pray we go back to man, because it's not working for us. I don't think these defenders have got the IQs to play zonal marking. I really don't think they're not good enough. It's a continental style of play, which we have not got, I don't think. We are strong man markers. I mean, we just need to just use common sense, I think. I think we just shot ourselves in the foot this season. I really do, because some of the goals, my God. Think back how many goals we conceded. I mean, we lost the Liverpool and Leicester game to set pieces. That goal that Everton scored in the last minute, the long ball into the box.
Yeah.
Organisation. It's the simplest thing to do. It's easier to destroy than it is to create. We all know this. And all you have to do is concentrate for that split moment. And we switched off so many times this season. We would be, I tell you what, we'd be 10 points better off if we didn't zonal mark this season.
We'd have won the league.
We'd be right up there.
Yeah.
The amount of goals that we've conceded it's a catastrophe, because I think it's spoiled a lot of the hard work that's gone in to this season. And it's a simple change that could be made. The coaching, whatever it is, someone just comes in, an extra defensive coach will help this team no end. I just feel like a lot of the players have been thrown under the bus because they're the last one to touch it, or it looks like they've made the mistake. Harry Maguire got loads of that early on in the season. The organisation needs to be better in our defence. It just needs coaching more, I think.
Yeah, it could be that. One thing I'd like to come to here is a comment. Just it comes in here. Passion Merchant says here, hopefully with a pre-season we can iron out mistakes from set pieces, because we didn't have one last season. Great name, by the way.
You've done well to get Amber Herrera to be in the comments, to be fair. You've done quite well there.
But Greg, there's kind of comment to that. Like, I'm just going to come to that. Like, maybe with a pre-season still behind us, maybe we can kind of iron out these mistakes, and maybe,
full pre-season
next season we can be more solid defensively. Because look, to be fair, we didn't have a pre-season. We came back from a very congested schedule, and there was a lot of fixtures, and we didn't really get much time on the training ground. But like, do you maybe think maybe it's a personnel issue, conceding set pieces? Do you maybe think, is it again this whole marking situation, or I think is it just like I think it's a combination of everything. I don't think there's a sole person to blame. I think it's a combination of many things.
Yeah, I think there's a combination of a lot of different things. I think a lot of the time when Man United lose goals that aren't set pieces, I've said it for weeks, it seems to all be happenstance. Like, it's just a bad pass goes somewhere, and then suddenly someone plays will be dominating a game, and then suddenly one of the midfield two, normally Fred or McTominay, will play a stupid pass. It leaves a defender in a hole, and then we concede a goal, and then that's obviously why it looks so bad. With the way we defend corners, it's really strange. So like, we defend, we don't defend just zonal, because the person on the front post is quite clearly doing man-to-man. So their job is to try and flick it on, which is either Rashford or Tellez normally, or Bruno sometimes, to like flick it on to try and get it away. But more times than not, if they miss it, it just leaves a defender or an attacker, from the other team at full speed coming on a defender. I think bringing in a defensive mid to actually take Pogba out of those situations would help us concede less goals, because Pogba's tall, but he's not good at defending. Like he's not. He can sometimes stick a leg out or get in the way because that's just the way his body moves. He's got long limbs and he's athletic. But you saw it with the goal he conceded. I can't remember a couple of weeks ago.
Liverpool.
Yeah, the Liverpool goal that he conceded, and he shouldn't be having to have that defensive duty as set pieces, because he's not very good at it. He's never been that good at it, and he's now at an age where he's not going to get better at it. So it needs to be, we get him out of that situation and we bring in someone that's dominant in the air, and that can be your defensive midfielder. And then once you have that bit more stability and you've got someone that's more comfortable, because teams know that, teams analyze it. They'll go, right, okay, well, Paul Pogba's going to be there for a corner. If we whip, or a free kick, if we whip 6-7 balls deep into the back post with Paul Pogba, we might win 2 or 3 headers. And 2 or 3 headers this season's been good enough to beat the goalkeepers at Man United, and been good enough to just make us concede stupid goals. I reckon if there was more stability, and Adam's right, like Maguire's so key to that Man United defence, the way it's organised, everything like that. When Maguire's not there, it looks like a train wreck. It really has. But if we were to get Pogba out of that situation and just allow him to be, like, he doesn't, because he always seems to be on the tallest guy because he's tall, and that's just not how it works. Like that's how it works in school football. But if you can't defend, it doesn't matter how tall you are. You're going to concede goals, and you're going to lose out on headers. So Pogba needs to come out of that situation. Bring in, if it is Declan Rice, if it's Coop Miners, if it's anyone that's big, strong, and tall and good in the air, we would concede a lot less goals from set pieces. And then you've had ones as well that we've had a couple of set piece goals that have been goalkeepers' fault, like the AC Milan one. I thought Henderson tried to make a stupid save. If he stood still, he could have caught it. De Gea got bullied against Sheffield United. Okay, it might have been a foul, but you still want your keeper to be stronger. Twanzebe gave away a stupid free kick against Everton, and then De Gea didn't come and close them down. Like, I think there obviously we concede a lot of goals in set pieces, but I don't think it's a case of just like it's just the zonal marking, or it's just the personnel. It's a combination of a lot of things. But I think, like you said with the pre-season, there's not a lot that, like, Ollie didn't have time to come in and go, right, well, this is going to be our brand new system that we're coaching with, and this is what we're going to do. Like, they were talking about it on the Athletic last week that Ollie's been one of the best managers for just sort of saying, well, this is a weird season because we can only get X amount of time on a training ground and doing this, that, and the other. So we're just going to do this for this season, park it, and then we'll work on improving next season. And that seems to have worked so far. So yeah, hopefully next season things are going to improve. But I think Pogba has to be out of the box next season, or just not on the tallest guy, because we concede so many goals when he loses out.
Yeah, look, and again, these are things, again, I think pre-season is going to be very, very important in terms of iron out the mistakes. Neil has a important comment for anyone who's planning on watching the game on Wednesday. If it's come up on the screen for me now, it says, remember, guys, we can watch the game free on the BT Sport app on YouTube as well. So if you don't have a BT Sport subscription and you don't want to be illegally streaming it and potentially, losing out in the game, there's 2 legal streams on the BT Sport app on YouTube.
Thank you so much, BT. Yeah, they do know why they're doing this, because they moved their Saturday clock kickoff to 7:45. What good is that to a match-going fan? Seriously, man. 7:45 on a Saturday. I can't wait. 12. At least you can wake up early and go. But what's coming back to Manchester from London at bleeding that time on a Saturday? God's sake. I tell you. Don't get me started on the broadcasters, my God.
The broadcasters are gangsters.
Mate, do you know what? Fair enough to the world of football and stuff, but it's only because I go to most of the games. That's why I'm annoyed. I'm just being selfish. Carry on, Keane. That's all it is.
Since it's a European final, guys, instead of like talking tactics and all this stuff, I think it's more, we all more or less know what the lineup's going to be kind of coming into this game, bar the exception of 1 or 2. I'd like to touch on memories in Europe and like big European nights we've had, because Manchester United, we've a rich history in Europe and we've had a lot of memorable moments. I'm going to come to each member of the panel here and to kind of reflect on kind of their favourite European moment as a Manchester United fan. Greg, I'll come to you first. Your favourite moment in Europe? We've obviously won the Europa League, won the Champions League. We've had comebacks, multiple great European nights. What's the most kind of memorable one that strikes out to you in your time watching Manchester United?
I think probably the final in Russia between Man United and Chelsea. I was 10 at the time, so like I remember because it went to extra time and because of where it was, that it was like I had to ask to like stay up later to watch it, and just watching the penalties was the most intense moment of my life. And the fact that John Terry, I hated John Terry growing up watching him play. I just didn't ever want him to do well, and just I was between sort of like jumping up out of joy and just excitement that we're in a European final, and then like hiding behind the couch watching it, and then just to win it how we did, and then for that to sort of be like Ronaldo's send off and everything, it was just incredible. So yeah, definitely the final in Russia against Chelsea, and we got to beat Chelsea as well, which is always good. Like honestly, if both teams could lose a football match next Saturday, I would pick next Saturday, because I would rather none of them won. Like I generally don't know what's worse.
I absolutely second that. Look, again, hopefully, I wish there was a way that two of them teams could absolutely, couldn't win the game. Especially the fact we have a few Chelsea fans on this podcast as well. Yeah. So, they'll let us know about it if they do win next week. And also, look, City are City, and look, they don't deserve anything. So, again, I wouldn't want either one of them to win. But Dale, obviously, we know each other a long time. Both from the same local area. We've obviously talked about Manchester United many times when we've met each other. Never got a chance to hear your favourite European moment as a Manchester United fan. What would be your most memorable moment watching us down the years?
I think for me would be the semi-final against Barcelona. Paul Scholes hitting the back of the net. I don't quite recall a feeling like that because it was shock. It came out of nowhere. I don't know what happened within those 10 seconds. It's one of those moments where you can remember it, but you can't quite remember it. Brilliant. That's what football is about. They're the moments that you'll talk about for the rest of your life. And there's a few of them. You can talk about Michael Owen's winner against City. That was one of those just out of the complete different gravy. That was, brilliant. Absolutely off your seat. And that's what kind of attaches you to football, and it comes with the lows, because you'll always remember those moments of heartbreak. You'll always remember that Nani sending off against Real Madrid. That for me was probably the hardest European moment. Losing European Cup finals to Barcelona. Probably my dream now is to watch Manchester United win a Champions League against Barcelona. That's my dream before I leave this earth. That's what I want to see after seeing them beat us twice. So you look at the lows and you look at the heights, and that's what being a football fan is about. Hopefully we can talk about the Europa League campaign this year being a positive one, because I look back to 2017. You talk to Annie Red, who was lucky enough to travel around Europe for that campaign, and there's some great stories. Unfortunately, fans aren't able to tell those stories this year because they weren't able to go on those travels. But luckily, there'll be over 2,000 at least that'll get to Gdansk. And hopefully it's a party to remember, because I think with this season being really weird, if Manchester United win the Europa League final in Gdansk, those Reds that are over there will have some story to tell from that night.
Yeah, I suppose the second time Manchester United fans can go to a game this season, and it's going to be you win a European final, and again, there are a select few of 2,000 that can go. The stories, I'd say, will be absolutely crazy, and look, it'll be a great kind of signal of fans being back. And again, as Sir Matt Busby says, football is nothing without the fans, and I think that's true, because many times Manchester United fans, we've got the team over the line so many times down the years, and it'd be great to see for the fans' first time going to a European game in over a year that we win the European final. That would just be sensational. Adam, what is your favourite memory in Europe as a Manchester United fan?
Oh, I'm going to show my age, guys. Yeah, I feel old as hell now listening to your stories.
68.
I'm going to flip Dale's one right on a 180 here because I've seen United beat Barcelona in a final in Europe.
Okay.
My ultimate memory is Rotterdam. Mark Hughes, my hero as a child growing up. I used to idolise Mark Hughes. I thought this was a time when men played football, and the pitch that night, old mitre ball, and some 80s PE teacher smacking one of these at you on a cold winter's morning type of football. It was bubbling everywhere, and there was some tackles flying in that. It's my all-time favourite goal as a Manchester United fan. Mark Hughes from the acute angle. You cannot describe how difficult that was just to absolutely smash that ball with a fizz on it, and it just absolutely, it was like a line drive in baseball. It just like an absolute bullet. It was the only way he was going to score from there because the defender was nearly there, and he just absolutely cleaned it, and it just went into the net. And my God, that as a child was, I mean, Lee Martin had me hooked. Don't get me wrong, it was brilliant. I cried when Leeds won the league, when it was the last of the first division. But that era, that started everything. This started the golden years for Manchester United. That FA Cup, that Cup Winners' Cup, Robson, Hughes, these players. It was just, you didn't realise at the time, but when you look back on it, you then realise that was massive for this football club, and to be part of it and to be around to actually see us beat a Barcelona team. And we weren't favourites going into that night. No one's seen United beating Barcelona, but my God, we absolutely gave them a game. It was blood and thunder. It really was. It was just tackling. You know what? I can remember the old commentators. I can remember everything about it. It was just a classic old school European night, and absolutely epic. I'm gutted the Cup Winners' Cup's gone. That's the best looking European trophy as well. Absolutely devastated that's not around anymore. But no, for me, that as a United fan, and like I said, I've seen both Champions League final wins under Sir Alex Ferguson, but as a kid, I didn't realise how important that goal was that Mark Hughes scored, both of them, because he snuck one off Steve Bruce as well. But that for me was my ultimate memory as a United fan in Europe, and that's my favourite shirt. That's one I love wearing as well. That retro shirt, that white one. That just gives me all the memories back. People were laughing at me saying I was stupid, saying United were going to win, beat Barcelona. I could not wait to get back in school, mate. I could not wait. I was buzzing, and that was me, hook, line, and sinker. Gone. Football for life. That was brilliant. I'll never forget it. I can remember the whole game. The saves, everything. It was just a brilliant memory, and you know what? I wish I could go back there now. I wish football was like that now, but man, you wouldn't see a pitch like that forever and a day right now. It was just old school, and brilliant. Mark Hughes was my favourite player growing up. Absolutely idolised the man. Absolutely idolised.
It's kind of good to see a contrast of memories from like Dale, yourself, and Greg, like all three memorable games, like, you know, all iconic moments. Like there's so many for Manchester United in Europe, but for me, I've just touching quickly personally, had to be 2008 when we beat Chelsea in the final. I lived in a house full of Liverpool fans, and when John Terry was stepping up to take that penalty, they were hassling me, they were hounding me, laughing at me. I had my head down the couch crying. I thought that was it, this is over. And then when I heard the ball smack off the post and smack off the post.
That sounds horrible. Who were these people?
My family down Paris.
You were your head down crying and they were laughing at you.
Yeah. But John Terry smacks the ball off the post, and Clive Tilsley, the commentary, it was brilliant. It was just a great moment, and obviously, Van der Sar saving the Anelka's penalty and seeing Ronaldo in tears and kind of just seeing rebuild that 2008 team and Manchester United was unbelievable, and the best United team I've obviously watched in my lifetime. But that for me was unbelievable. And yes, I did flip the bird at the Liverpool fans when we did win the Champions League as well. I did flip the bird
on that night, mate. That was the illest. I was in Greece. I was actually in Greece in Corfu. That's the illest I have ever been. It was almost as close to as a full day trip on the Red Issue bus going to watch United against West Ham when we beat them 5-3 with the Beckham chip over David James. I was poorly that day, but that night in Greece, I actually ate something that night before the final, and I got food poisoning, but I didn't know at the time. The next day, I thought I was just really badly hungover, but I had gastro for a week. It killed me. I lost half of my holiday, but deep down, I was lying there on the lounger. I was the happiest man alive, knowing that we'd beaten Chelsea in the final. I was dying on my bed. Don't get me wrong, I was poorly, but I was so happy. It was absolutely. I'd never forget that final. And you're right, guys. It was the way it all panned out. It had to be Terry, didn't it? And then it had to be ex-City and Anelka. It just worked out perfect, didn't it?
Yeah.
If Carlsberg done Wednesday nights, that would have been it. That would have been it, 100%. But finally, just to wrap up the show, as I always do before a game, I always get score predictions off the panel. And so usually I go out on them and I'd be wild in these score predictions. This week I'm not going to do it. So guys in the comments, do not expect anything wild from me this week. Going to come to the whole panel and see what they think in terms of how this game is going to pan out. Dale, going to come to you first. How do you reckon it's going down?
I told you before we started that I was kind of pessimistic about this now, with like said the fact that we slogged the end of the season, and the fact that Villarreal, I don't know too much about them. Just one of these Spanish teams, but from watching Spanish football this year, I haven't been too impressed at all. Really, the standard is way off what it was a few years ago. And we've already beaten 2 Spanish teams convincingly in Europe this season. So I think we should be confident. Touching on what Greg said about our kind of approach going into this game, we should be going for it. We should be going for it in the first half an hour or so, because you look at the teams on paper for starters. I'm not going to brag on for too long, but we've got the team there, even with a shaky defense. We've got the players up front to make a difference. Edison Cavani. It's the best striker that this competition has seen this year. We should be gunning for him. So I want to go for a 3-1 win for United in Gdansk.
3-1 win for Dale. So Dale's very confident going into this game. Greg, I know you're nearly busting there. You're saying, I know are you thinking with your heart, thinking with your head? How's it going down Wednesday?
I would love it to be something like so comfortable, but everything we've done this season has been the hard way, and we're going to do it the hard way again. I think we'll win 2-1. I think we'll go 1-0 down, and I think we'll have to come back and win it in the second half, because it's the way we've done everything over the last year. It would be the most fitting way to sort of win it based on the last season that we've had. And yeah, I just think, why not one more time will they throw us through the ringer thinking that they're gonna lose and chuck a big game, but just to pull it out in the second half. I can just see it happening. I can see us being ball dominant, and then a loose pass going away. Suddenly they're 1-on-1 with De Gea and just slots it away, and then we've just got to break down a low block for 45, 50 minutes. So yeah, I'll go 2-1 Man United. 2-1
Man United. So Dale's confident going for 3-1. Greg is going for me, running up and down to the toilet by the looks of things. In terms of his score prediction. Adam, how are you feeling going into this game?
I've got to back my courage and my convictions. This is going to be 3-0 to Manchester United. Away from home, we're the comeback kings. Yeah, at home we've been garbage. Let's face it. This is a neutral ground, so this is going to be the easy game, guys. This is what's going to happen. We don't get many neutral grounds. We've had one this season, and we smashed Sociedad to pieces on it. This is going to be, and me just talking about them finals then, this is going to be, I cannot see a team that finished below Real Sociedad in the Spanish league, who we absolutely walked over, causing us problems. The only thing that's going to beat United is Man United. Yeah. That's it. A mistake or something, a lack of concentration, but we have got too much quality for this Villarreal side. It is, Dale's right, the standard in that league has been shocking this season. It really has. And like I said, Granada are 2 places below this team. Granada, we all know. Villarreal have never been to a major final, by the way, guys. They should be shitting bricks right now.
Yeah.
They're a poor team compared to us. United play the game, not the occasion. We will smash them to pieces. I do understand the nervous side of the fans, though, because I know it's United and nothing straightforward.
But Adam, isn't it proof, right? I understand the nerves too, because obviously I'm going to feel them before Wednesday night too, before the game. Yeah, everyone will. But isn't it proof that no matter who you're going to play in the final, you're going to feel that? Because if when we first got thrown into the Europa League and they said, right, you're going to play Villarreal in the final, we'd all be jumping around the place thinking, trophy there in the bag. Trophy in the bag, no problem. It's when the realization kicks in that you're actually in this final against them, you start doubting yourselves. Really, this goes for fans and goes for the team on Wednesday night. Like, really, once you doubt yourself, you're defeating yourself. Yourself. You know, this United team should be blowing them away. Okay, maybe that's a bit disrespectful to Villarreal. They could come out and they could perform really well, their biggest games of their career. Understand that this Man United team should be winning.
But Keane, you said it at the start, mate. You said it right at the start of this show, mate. This is important for Ole. It's important for individual players. If United want to make that next step, and this group of players want to be part of it, you have to go into this final and act like Manchester United. You have to go into the final and play your game. We have got serial winners in Pogba, Cavani in our team. We've got the mentality of Bruno. There's just way too much class for this Villarreal team. Just trust in your ability, and Ollie will be getting that across to him now. He will be into him. This is his biggest thing right now. It's just, guys, concentrate on you, and you will win this football game. It's as simple as that. I know it's easier said than done. I really do. But it just, if United step up and go, we're the third highest paid squad in world football, we're going to go out and play like Manchester United. United will win this game. I'm telling you right now. We will win 100%. This game and we will move 100%. On to next season with we'll move on to next season with a buzz in the air. We've done tick this season off. Exactly what every United fan would have expected or thought was be the maximum we could do out of this season. Tick. The big challenge is next season after that. But first of all, let's put this Villarreal team to bed. Let's have no messing Reds. And let's all be happy this week. And then maybe Chelsea beat City at weekend. You never know, eh?
I like that confidence.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Finally,
mate,
I was going to go
my watch along, Keane. If you're on it, mate, if you're jumping on it, mate, our watch along is going to be epic, mate. I'm telling you.
I'm going to be on the beer. That's something to shoot me for feeling nervous.
Really big bollocks here right now, mate. As soon as I start streaming on Wednesday, mate, I'll be all over the place.
My score prediction for this, guys, I'm going to put us through the ringer too. I'm going to go 2-0 United, but we're going to be 1-0 up all game.
Wow.
And then 80-something minute, Bruno Fernandes is scoring a penalty to win us the game.
Oh, Keane, you had to go with that penalty, didn't you, mate?
Bruno Fernandes scores a penalty in the 80-something minute, and the whole of Twitter melts down and Man United win the Europa League.
No, mate. You know what will be perfect, mate? Bruno gets the penalty, keeper saves it, but it rolls right out to his foot and he just taps it in.
So he gets an open play goal.
That's it. He'll get an assist and he'll get a goal from open play to shut everyone up, mate. There you go.
And then I can just go on Twitter and shithouse everyone, as I always do. But we're going to wrap it up there tonight, guys. Thanks very much to the whole panel for coming on tonight. Thanks very much to Dale. Thanks very much to Greg. Thanks very much to Adam for all coming on. Absolute top men. And I do appreciate you coming on, taking time out your Monday evening to come on. I always like to give people a chance to shout out their socials and their content when they do come on. Dale, where can our viewers catch you?
Yeah, you can catch us at Stretty News for United News, and we're on Instagram, and our podcast is StrettyCast.
Yeah, so do check that out. Do great content, and do check out Dale's podcast there from last week. He did a great podcast in terms of the Glazers and the protests and everything that's going on with the Super League as well. So do check that out. It's a very good listen. Adam, where can our viewers catch you? Yeah, as usual, Adam Matic TV on YouTube. Adam Matic 31 on Instagram, and then Adam Matic on Twitter all the way. Yeah, so do catch Adam's content as well. I'm also over on that channel, so do check that out also. Greg, where can our viewers catch you?
Yes, it's on Twitter at Greg_D_Chambers. And then in July, I will be hosting the Premier League podcast for on the weekly armchair for Keane there. So yeah, you'll see me on there as well. Sort of going into next season, just having a general chit chat about the Premier League, not just Man United, every team, even the shit, even Newcastle. Yeah, we'll talk about them all. So yeah, go and give me a follow there.
Absolutely, do check that out in July. And thanks very much, Greg, for announcing that as well. You're well ahead of me in that one, brother. So dude, thanks very much for that. And look, as always, do check me out at Keane_Franey on Twitter. And also, most importantly, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also check our website at www.weeklyarmchairkickoff.com. And we do have articles up there every week as well as our YouTube content. So do check that out. But thanks very much everyone for watching. And look, let's hope Manchester United go out there and win the trophy on Wednesday night. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.